How can aperture priority avoid slow shutter speeds for dynamic shots? Imagine capturing a fast-moving sports scene or a lively street parade without blurry motion. That's where understanding how to manage your camera settings becomes essential. Aperture priority mode lets you control the size of the opening in your lens, known as the aperture, while the camera automatically adjusts the shutter speed to get the correct exposure. But in situations with lots of movement or low light, the camera might pick a slow shutter speed, causing motion blur. To keep your images sharp and clear, you need to make some smart adjustments. First, increasing the ISO sensitivity is a common way. Raising the ISO makes your camera sensor more responsive to light, so it can select faster shutter speeds. For example, if you're shooting in dim light or a fast scene, bumping the ISO from 100 to 800 or even 1600 can make a big difference. Just remember, higher ISO can introduce more noise or grain into your photos, so find a balance that works for your scene. Next, if your camera allows, setting a minimum shutter speed limit is very helpful. Some cameras let you specify a shutter speed that the camera won't go below. For instance, you could set it to 1/500 of a second. This way, the camera will prioritize faster speeds to freeze motion, even if it means raising the ISO or adjusting other settings. If the camera can't maintain proper exposure at that speed, it might warn you or automatically increase ISO to compensate. Using auto ISO combined with a shutter speed limit is another effective trick. This setup allows your camera to automatically adjust ISO to keep shutter speeds above your chosen threshold. So, if your subject is moving quickly, the camera will raise ISO to ensure the shutter speed stays fast enough to prevent blur. This method gives you a good balance between exposure and motion freezing without needing to switch to manual mode. Opening the aperture wider is also a quick way to boost light intake. Switching to a lens with a larger maximum aperture, like f2.8 instead of f5.6, lets in more light, which helps the camera select faster shutter speeds. Keep in mind, a wider aperture reduces depth of field, so your focus area becomes shallower. Finally, adding extra light to your scene or using faster lenses with wider maximum apertures can make a big difference. If you're shooting indoors or in low light, bringing in additional lighting or using lenses with larger openings helps maintain high shutter speeds. When shooting handheld or capturing fast-moving subjects, always keep an eye on your shutter speed and ISO. If the shutter speed drops below about 1/60 of a second, especially with longer focal lengths, it's time to increase ISO or open the aperture wider. This way, you can freeze motion and keep your images sharp. Aperture priority mode makes it easier to control depth of field, but to avoid slow shutter speeds during action shots, managing ISO and setting shutter speed limits are key. By doing so, you can get crisp, clear images without switching to manual mode every time.